Dzień dobry everybody, welcome back, привет, bonjour, shalom, namaste, and cześć czołem, and of course, howdy, you wonderful little people, and welcome back to Call of Juarez, Gunslinger. With me, Red Polscorp, your always happy little anarchistic, anti-fascist, goddamn crazy ass idiot from left down the road. First of all, thank you for being here with me again, and how about we just jump in? I think last time we had a little standoff with Kit Curry. Let's take a look what's happening this time.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang.
Wait, Jesse James?
Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
One hell of a payday indeed. Death rides are still selling, according to Silas, another of his brother's murderers robbed trains with Jesse James. Well, how about we'll take a little look at that.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
Yeah, this actually ended good. I just got in and then this shit. What the fuck? But first, let's take a little look. We could live dynamite, reload guns in concentration, steady aim, hints about nuggets of truth, hints about enemies behind us, counterattack after sense of death. Well, that's something. Yeah, why not? Actually, sounds mighty fun. Get out here! Yeah, I'm going out here. You know who we are? Nice to know that you know who I am, buddy. What the fuck's wrong with me today? Should there be one? Oh, wait. Secret! Won't I? Winston train robbery on July the 15th, 1881, the Chicago, Rock Island and Pacific Railroad train left Winston, Missouri. Soon after it started moving, Jesse and Frank Jameson Woodhide jumped on board into one of the passengers' cars, while Dick Little and Clarence Hyde entered the train from the other end. The conductor, named William Weston, was collecting tickets in the passenger car at the time. It was believed that in 1875, Westfall transported the Pinkerton agents to attack their mother's house, wounding her and killing their half-brother. Jesse shot him in the back without warning, then approached him and shot him in the head. In that moment, Frank killed one of the other passengers, who may have decided to play hero and interfere with Jesse's shooting of Westfall. The train robbery was not as profitable as expected. The outlaws collected a mere $650. Infuriated, they jumped off the train and escaped. Posse pursued them, but the James Ross and the gang were gone with the wind. A meager haul led the dissension, and Frank eventually left the gang, leaving Jesse to fend for himself with the inexperienced outlaws that were left. Because of the murders, the governor increased the bounty on both their heads. Jesse recruited Oswald's gang, including the man who eventually would shoot him in the back for that bounty.
You can't hide from me! James, gang!
Shit again! Wait, that's a fucking shooter again. Motherfucker. I'll be right back. Oh, found a little boy. Didn't I? Seriously, that's just bullshit. I don't want to hide.
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this.
Wait, what? Legend was, you could stop the train. Staring it down. Jesse James.
They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train.
It's actually hurt like hell.
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Seriously, could this fucking chicken stop? Oh, don't you dare. I'd rather take those 10 points than see you flying out of here.
Right. Run!
Like this little chickie. Okay, let's just take this little secret here, Jesse James. Jesse Woodson, he was actually quite a looker. Woodson James is probably the Wild West most celebrated outlaw. He was famous when he was alive, but attained the status of legend upon his death. Despite enjoying a reputation worthy of Robin Hood, when the facts of history are examined, it's clear he wasn't much more than a thief and a murderer. As a teenager, Jesse and his brother Frank fought as Confederate guerrillas, holy shit, Confederates, during the Civil War alongside the infamous William Quantrill and his raiders. Some believe Jesse took part in a massacre of some 200 men and boys in Lawrence, Kansas. After the war, Jesse, like many suspected for Southern sympathizers in speech, turned to banditry and continued to wage his own private war. Until 1876, Jesse, Frank, and the younger brothers robbed banks and trains as the James Younger gang. That legendary run came to a bloody conclusion when they tried to rob the First National Bank of Northfield, Minnesota. Two of the gangs were left dead. Cole Younger ended up in prison. Frank and Jesse escaped unscathed. 3 years later, Jesse James founded the new gang, but these new members weren't Federal Hardened war veterans. Frank had left the gang and without his sure hand, Jesse became paranoid and mistrustful of his partners in crime. His concerns were well-founded, however, as someone he trusted betrayed him most grievously. On April the 3rd, 1882, after breakfast with his family, Jesse decided to wipe some dust off a photograph hanging on his living room wall. He unbuckled his revolver belt and climbed the chair while his friend Robert Ford, hoping to collect the bounty, put a bullet in the back of Jesse's head. Thus, Jesse James joined other Wild West luminaries like Wild Bill Hickok and John Wesley Hardin, who died from a gunshot in the back. Holy shit.
Son of a bitch!
Okay. So, the door and we're gonna be shooting some man. Hey, let's run. Should've shut you right. Should've shut you a little bit soon, buddy. Where's the way? Where's the way? There's the way. I missed one opportunity. Oh fuck, you serious? Yeah, I don't know if I'm a murderer or not because right now I've got a fucking black screen.
Are you shit? Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Wait, what?
Right through there. Let me show you.
Seriously? Do we really have to wait now for him to get back? I'll be right back. Well, apparently while we're running through, somebody really figured something. Well, most likely me, this goddamn shotgunner on the roof. Bathroom break.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
Could be. Could be. But free liquor or not, he's got some mighty fine stories.
No, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But you
bar.
seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof.
By the way, Jim Reed and Belle Starr. Well, we're talking about Belle Starr, so let's read a little bit about her. Not much is known about Jim Reed other than the fact that during the Civil War, he was a member of the Cornfields Raiders, just like the James Wells and the Youngers. After the war, he rode for a time with Sam Starr's gang, and later with the James Younger gang. He died in 1874 in Paris, Texas, from a gunshot wound. Today he's probably better known as the first husband of the infamous Belle Starr, the bandit queen. They met as teenagers and Belle gave birth to his 2 children. Belle Starr, or Myra Mabel Shirley Reed Starr, also knew the Youngers and the James Wells. After Jim's demise, she turned to banditry, taking part in horse and cattle thefts and protecting other criminals. She thus earned the moniker of the Queen of the Bandits. The peak of her criminal activities was during her marriage to Sam Starr. It is said that after Jim Reed's death and before she married Starr, she was Cole Younger's wife for 3 weeks. There's no solid evidence backing it up, however. Belle Starr was famous for her impeccable style. She was usually seen riding her horse, side saddle, wearing stylish black dress, with 2 revolvers and an ammo belt around her hips. She died in unusual circumstances 2 days before her 41st birthday in 1889. An unknown murderer shot Belle off the horse she was riding with a shotgun and then shot her again. The bushwhacker's identity is still a mystery. Starr's own son is among the prime suspects, as the bandit queen was a tough woman to live with. Said son was a bandit himself and then became a lawman, only to die in a saloon shootout in 1896. His sister, Pearl, applied the world's oldest drake and ran a bordel in Fort Smith, Arkansas, from the 1890s until the First World War. Lady Pearl in jail. That's something I always get in my mind when I hear the name Pearl. Off the sides, you said. Off the sides, you said.
At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's a damn Pinkerton!"
It's a damn Pinkerton!
Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins.
Talking about assassins, I just got my shit pushed in so far, I'll be sniffing it for 2 or 3 weeks right now. That wasn't even a good shot. Oh, come on. Bastard. He's a bloody bastard, but I don't even know where he's from. Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous. Most ridiculous. Okay, let's get this shit show moving. Oh, no, buddy. God damn you. From where? Yeah, I'm just going to wait until this shit's gone. I'm crazy. Not dumb.
Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother.
Son of a bitch!
So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
From where does this shit always come?
Son of a bitch!
Run your hands.
You can't fight me, gang!
Buddy. Holy mother of hell.
Who we are?
Yeah, I know who you are. Thank you very much.
Had enough?
Actually, no.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember.
I bet you are.
You better hide!
I'm actually not hiding, I'm just sitting here. I actually was here already. Shit. Belly up. I saw ya, buddy. Didn't expect to fucking shoot ya. Didn't expect to see ya.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
What was that I'm thinking? That's a great fucking deal.
Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
What's it also
Yeah,
funny?
seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
Yep, he does. And he's actually making me fucking nervous. Let's just take the secret and take a little look at the Pinkertons. Their the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, not simply as the Pinkertons or Pinks, but less favorably inclined, was founded in Chicago by Scottish expatriate Alan Pinkerton. Pinkerton became famous when he supposedly foiled a plot to assassinate President-elect Abraham Lincoln en route to his first inauguration. As a Union spy master, Pinkerton later founded what became the Union States Secret Service. Pinkerton's detectives offered a wide range of services from personal protection to private military contracts. At the peak of its power, the agencies registered numbered more than the total active strength of the Union States Army. Nobody liked the Pinkertons, but they were especially hated and feared by the outlaws of the Wild West. Railroads and banks paid top dollar for the agency to pursue criminals like Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch or the James Younger gang. Capturing Jesse James was an obsession for Alan Pinkerton, and later it became personal vendetta. On January 25th, 1875, he organized an assault on the home of Zerelda Samuel, Jesse James's mother. The attack, which employed incendiaries among other means, caused the death of Jesse's 8-year-old half-brother Archie James. Holy shit. The resulting explosion also cost Zerelda an arm. Such a shameful attack on the mother and little brother turned public opinion against the agency among the James gang new sympathizers. Alan Pinkerton explained afterwards that he never planned to set the James house on fire. That in fact turned out to be a complete lie, as later a recovered letter written on his own hand read, burn the house down. Not to mention those guys actually opposed union labors and were against protests and beat them down in a brutal fashion, even killing people, shooting them to bits, and so on and so on. Capitalists best, I'd say. Yeah, I see ya. See ya, buddy? Just a little bit more. I can see you. I can see you. I can see you. Well, that's big ass. You need to do in the Wild West apparently is to know how to shoot. Something like that. Even more shit to get fucking dude. I can see her, no? I can see her too. There's another one. Just waiting to be shot. There you are, my dear little girl. Oh, there's another one. Let's take a look who I'm shooting here. You, or even you. Nice to see that some of you are still there. I'm more of a hot dog. Get to the cars full of Range Rovers, of course. That's straight full blast. Explosions are bigger. This is actually the one I'd like to have next. So what gives? What's this? 6 cents. So let's get moving. What the fuck was wrong with you?
I I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
What?
Ready to meet.
Yep, I know who you all are. That's why I'm here, to be honest.
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
I'm good here already. That's some hot stuff right here.
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train.
Right, freaks. That has to hurt. I'm getting a headache by that. Good morning, good morning. The express, huh? The only thing express here is
I could
that.
see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you.
But nobody said that we killed Jesse.
Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That
Nice.
bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
So, honorably killed? No, we didn't kill Jesse. We just wounded him bad enough. So, thank you all for being here with me on this wonderful, wonderful battle game, because I'm going to cut this session short here. Thank you all for being here with me. Like I said, do me a little favor. Please put your comments down below, like, and of course subscribe, you pretty little comrades. Stay healthy and of course stay safe, whatever time it is, whenever you're watching this. And please, do me the greatest thing of course that you can do for me is to keep on ripping. Thank you everybody, goodbye, and I see you all soon enough.